When should you actually do a pricing project? This was a question I got from a SaaS CEO the other day. They were thinking about selling their company sometime out in the future, but they were not sure when was the right timing to do a pricing project on their customers. I think it's a super valid question because most SaaS CEOs, one day or the other, eventually going to sell their company. So how do you align the optimal, I would say, value of the company with when you want to sell it? That is how you can use pricing. So just going to break it down here and give an example of how you could think about this. So at some point out in the future, you want to sell your company. This is time. But when is then the right time to do the pricing? So if we break it down, if you want to sell the company here, well, you will have a process here of, let's say, 6 to 9 months where you do the actual due diligence process. So this is a time when you start negotiating, start talking to potential private equity funds to buy your company. In this period of time, you can't touch your pricing. It's obvious. But when a new owner is looking at your company in the due diligence process, they obviously will also look at how has your pricing evolved over time, how sticky is your pricing model, how much churn do you have, and so on. For the first 6 to 9 months, you can't really change your pricing. But how about the period before? Well, you want to prove to the new owners that the pricing you have implemented isn't scaring away your customers. So you actually need to have the evidence that customers are not churning. That will take you one renewal cycle. If you're a B2B SaaS company, a renewal cycle would probably typically be 12 months. So you want to show the VCs or the PEs that your customers are actually renewing after you have implemented the new pricing. So that adds 12 months on top of your timeline, or 6 months if that's your renewal cycle. Then you have the actual time it takes to implement your new pricing to existing customers. Again, here we're talking about the renewal cycle. So when do you implement the new pricing to your new customers? Most likely you will do that when you have to re-invoice them for the next period. So again, here for a typical SaaS company, B2B, we're talking about maybe 12 months, in some cases 2. So that's the ideal case that you could do it in 2 months. And on top of this, the last thing you need to calculate into the timeline is the time it actually takes you to do the pricing and packaging project, which would typically be, let's say, 3 months. So when is the right time to do a pricing project if you're thinking about selling your company? It depends, but expect 20 to 24 months before the actual M&A can happen.